5K SnipeAthon is a public trading journey where I'm going to grow $5,000 of my own money to $10,000 trading currency in the foreign exchange market. This is a completely public and transparent trading journey where I give daily and weekly updates of the progress. If you want to follow and stay up to date on this trading journey, make sure you hit like, subscribe, turn the notifications on, and look in the comments to join the Snipers Anonymous broadcast where I update the chat daily on the progress of the account. Shalom, 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 Mishpachah. Peace and blessings to everybody on the call. Welcome back to week 6 of the SnipeAthon. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the weekly update. So what we have for week 6, right? Sorry, y'all. Let me get this right. Okay. So last week we had a starting balance of $4,977.27, and we ended the week with $5,005.17. Out of the 6 trades we took last week, we won 5, lost 1, and so that was a win rate of 83.33%. There are no open trades running, no open profit or open losses, and the net profit so far for this account since getting back in profit is $5.17, and the net profit gain percentage has been 0.1%. The note for last week, or the note for this week, is keep the excitement at bay, and that's actually the theme of tonight's call. And then this week's focus is to be picky with our setups. Here's the agenda for the week, here's the agenda for the show. We'll start off as always with news forecast, looking at the upcoming week to see how we're going to navigate the market throughout the week and what we need to look out for. We're going to review the dollar. We're going to review the pound or the euro versus the pound so we can check the strength of each one. We're going to review euro USD, and then we'll pick a wild card pair. Again, we'll have you guys pick what it is that you would like me to analyze based on whoever's first, whoever drops their pair first, or if a pair is mentioned more than one time. And then we have a special guest, a special student guest speaker tonight who's going to come on and give you guys something that I believe is going to be very valuable. So definitely, stick around and hang out for that. And then after that, we will close out the show. So first things first, let's get into the news. All right. Before we get into the news, how you doing, Ms. Beeson? Welcome, family. What's going on, Khalil? What's going on, Ms. Allen? Welcome to the SnipeAthon. Welcome to the show. Give me a quick second to bring up my screen so we can go over the news. All right. Okay. And let me get this right. Here we go. All right. So we're only going to focus on red folder news this week because I haven't been seeing a lot of movement when those orange folders release. So we'll keep it clean, keep it efficient, and only focus on the red folders this week. So for Tuesday, tomorrow we have employment change weekly, and that's the only thing we have for tomorrow for the United States dollar, and that's going to be at 8:15 in the morning. All right, so for the New York, for the pound on Wednesday at 3 o'clock in the morning, we have inflation rates, which could move the market a lot because inflation usually comes with volatility, or those inflation news releases come with volatility. Then we have the euro at 5 o'clock in the morning with the IFO business climate, and that's another red folder. So in between 3 and 5, if you trade in that London session, just be aware that there could be some volatility during that time. And then Thursday at 3 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, we have euro news, the consumer confidence and then Godano's speech. And then at 8:30 in the morning, we have three red folder news releases concerning initial jobless claims, all jobless claims news. And then on Friday, not a lot going on with the dollar, but as we can see for the pound, that's going to be a busy London session Friday morning. So if you're looking to get your last trades in, like I usually do, I try to get my last trades in during the early morning. My trades may carry over from Thursday night into Friday because I don't like to trade Friday. But if I have something running, I will close that trade out. But that's going to be at 3 o'clock in the morning for the pound. And then at 10 o'clock in the morning, if you're still in the market on Friday around 10 o'clock in the morning, watch out for that Michigan consumer sentiment. Okay. And that is all we have for news. Next, let's get into analyzing the dollar. Right. While I'm pulling this up, how has everybody's week been so far? Let me know in the chat if you had any takeaways, any breakthroughs, and it could be about anything. It doesn't have to be about trading. Maybe it's something that's going on in your life, any kind of testimony, anything to share. All right, so going over the dollar, um, let's rewind back to last week and what we talked about. Um, if you guys, everybody that's on the call or on the show, if you've been following, you know that this markup hasn't changed, right? We pan out to the 4 hour. Let's get a bird's eye view. We have our area of consolidation that we were in a couple weeks ago. We started to break out of the consolidation, but it came back up, actually broke out of the consolidation. And this is where we left off last week. Okay, so this is where we left off last week on the show. And this is how everything played out throughout last week. So let's look at what happened. Before we got off the call, last update on the last show, I was expecting price to come up to the mitigation zone and then sell off. And you see, we got that reaction. And so that was one of the first winning trades of the week on EU because I was expecting price to head down. And then, I was, for the buy. So that trade was a success. But as you can see, price followed what we thought it was going to do. We came down very close to the buy zone. It didn't quite make it into the buy zone, but it did bounce off of this channel here because we also have an ascending channel that started to form back in January of this year. All right. And so we've been keeping track and monitoring this ascending channel, and it's actually been coming into play with our current analysis. So we bounced off the top of that channel, came back up to another sell zone and really sold off. And now we're back down within the consolidation, right? And where did we retest? Where did that retest happen? Very close to the bottom of that ascending channel. So we climbed back up, broke out of the ascending channel, came back down into the ascending channel, and now it looks like we've come back up into the ascending channel and is heading not only to the top of the consolidation, but back to the top of the ascending channel. And so I believe we're starting off the week bullish on the dollar. We're starting off the week bullish on the dollar, and I'm expecting it to come up to the top of the consolidation, which means I'm expecting euro to start the week off bearish. But ultimately, looking at higher time frame order flow, I am expecting the dollar to continue bearish a little bit. All right, we still have some imbalance to fill down here. We have this gap that I really feel is price is really pulling on this gap is really pulling on price right now. I really feel like they're coming for this liquidity down here. So I'm looking for a break out of this channel and a break below this purple zone in the bottom of the consolidation. But like I said, dollar starting off bullish for the week. So looking for bearish movement on EU. And ultimately, I'm expecting the dollar to fall. So I'll be looking for bullish movement after the bearish movement on EU, if that makes sense. No, I just said bullish and bearish like 100 times. Right. Okay. Hey, what's up, Kashif? Welcome to the call, man. Do you think trading is based on algorithms or news? So I believe is based on both, but for different reasons. So the reason why I say news is because I teach news is the excuse. I definitely I believe that most of what we see, the price action that we see in the market is based on algorithms. And that is because of who controls the markets and who actually has the capital to create the pictures that we see, which we know are commercial banks, right? Commercial banks, and then the large financial institutions and the central bank. So with the financial institutions and the commercial banks and large speculators, small speculators, they use bots. Like, they're not in front of the screen analyzing the charts like we are. They're using AI, they're using bots, algorithm. Definitely, the market is definitely ran on algorithms, and it looks at the patterns, just like no different than social media, Instagram, Facebook. It looks at the pattern of the people who are trading, where are they getting in at, what are they reacting to, what different patterns are they reacting to, how do they react to it, and then they just use the most efficient strategy possible to knock as many people out of the trades before they go in the right direction, because of course the goal is for the house to win, and so they need uh as least people on the right side of the trade as possible, which is where all the manipulation comes in. But yes, I do believe that the market is ran on algorithms, and that's a good question. How do you feel? What do you believe? All right, let's get into the pound versus euro. All right, so the euro versus the pound, because this is going to tell me the true strength or weakness of the euro. So we have some temporary bullish here, or some temporary bullishness, and I don't say this is a consolidation. I mean, all of this is really one big area of consolidation that we've kind of swept the highs. Again, they've just been sweeping highs, taking liquidity. Right. This is textbook manipulation right here too. Consolidation is where most manipulation takes place, because people don't know which way the market is going, and a lot of people just guess. They try to guess it, and so they create liquidity at the top, at the bottom, at the top, at the bottom, right? And then they sweep, sweep again, right? And so now we've come back up into this area of consolidation, and it looks like, even though it started to go bullish, this strong move up, and because it came back up into consolidation and retested the bottom, it's looking like this is about to continue bullish. And so we're back within the consolidation, and I see the euro versus the pound coming back up to this sell zone. If that's true, that confirms my assumption that the euro, even though I believe euro USD is going to start off bearish, because I believe the dollar is starting off bullish, that throughout the remainder of the week, more than likely, the euro is going to go bullish. All right, so let's go ahead and actually look at the euro versus the dollar and our markup from last week. All right, so we got a lot of here's that buy zone. The market came down, right? And we actually caught this buy. I caught the buy later. So I missed it in the morning because it happened at 3 in the morning. When I woke up, I mean, this was textbook. I could really tell that this was a good area to buy from. So I end up catching that buy. But we're reacting off of the zones as expected. Right. We got the sell reaction here. Came back down into the old buy zone again, and we've reacted off of that. Blew a little past the second sell zone. Look at this manipulation. Look at these equal highs here. See how price kind of poked up above that high. And so we created a lot of sellers, created a channel, right? I want y'all to look at this manipulation. And people who thought this was going to buy, they dropped down, took them out, and then went in the intended direction, which is why I believe Euro is going to be bullish this week, because I believe their intentions is to continue up, because we have some imbalance to fill up here. And then we also have this market gap that I marked up back on March 1st that it looks to be coming back for. All right, so expecting price to play around in this area a little bit. Probably going to go bearish a little more. And I would say I would like to see price stay in this range. If price stays in this range in between now and tomorrow, and then during the New York, I see an opportunity to buy. I don't see price coming back down below this low right here. So right now, I really can't mark a buy zone because I don't see anything clear. All I know is that we're working within this range, and I don't see price coming back below this low here. And so I'm expecting to buy from somewhere in this area, but I'm going to need to see more market structure form throughout the week. If that makes sense. Does that make sense of why I'm not marking up a buy zone or a sell zone right now? Because I'm waiting. I want to wait for more structure to form on the lower time frame. I can look and see and assume, but I know that we're working within this range and this range. I'm convinced that we're going to buy this week. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm leaning towards. Okay, I'm about to check the comments real quick, guys. Okay, so Kashif said, most definitely algorithm, especially how markets move today. It was based on Friday's high and low. Yeah, they did take out the highs and the lows from last week. I seen that. They actually consolidated on Friday too. Is they manufactured it, right? They manufactured the highs and the lows. People who were caught or stuck or stayed in it over the weekend, they took them out today for sure. The highs and the lows. And let's go ahead and let me show you guys what that looks like too. What does it look like when previous days highs and lows get taken out? What does that look like in what does that look like on the chart? And so the way you can see that is you want to come in the settings. If you have a trading view, you come down to events and then you hit session breaks. All right, and what session breaks does is it separates each trading day. So you see the dash lines, the dash horizontal lines that's appeared on the screen. This separates each trading day from the next. And so within these lines, you can see last week's low, and then the highest point, which is about right here, and last week's high. And so we see today, what did they do? First thing for the London, volatility pushed price down below Friday's low, and then it shot back up and pushed price back up above Friday's high. And so that's textbook market manipulation. And Kashif, you are absolutely right. All they did was manipulate, take out daily highs and daily lows. But that's what that looks like. All right. John said, yes. Welcome to the call, John. Darius, blessings. I'm grateful to be refreshed in the concept of faith. Hallelujah. In a time where virtually everything is uncertain, my trust in the Most High is increasing, knowing He cannot fail, even if I do. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Hallelujah. It is a blessing to be in that mind state, especially in the state of the world today, because it's very easy with trying to keep up with the news and just trying to be vigilant to fall into that, to fall into depression, to fall into fear. So I'm glad to hear that, man. All praises to the Most High. What about the history of the timeline? Miss Allen, what do you mean when you say that? What about the history of the timeline? And while I'm waiting on her to respond, let's go ahead and move on to the next thing, which is, give me a second, y'all. Oh, so it's time for y'all to pick a pair. All right, it's time for y'all to pick a pair. Is there anything that you guys will want me to analyze while I'm on here? She said, I see it hit the fair value gap from Thursday and went up. Huh. It's a good observation. That's a good analysis. Miss Allen said, when you said why you weren't looking to buy or sell right now, what about the history of the timeline? I'm sorry, Miss Allen. I'm still not understanding your question. I said, when you said why weren't you looking to buy or sell right now? What about the history of the timeline? Are you saying why am I not looking in the past to decide where I want to buy or where I want to sell? Is that what you mean? Does anybody have any pairs that they would like analyzed? If not, or while I'm waiting on that, let's go ahead and review last week's wild card, which is UCAT. Hey, what's up, Joe? Welcome to the call. And GJ. I think I might, GJ, I might let our guest speaker go over that. Might let them show us what they're seeing on GJ. Bitcoin. That's an interesting one. You know what? Let's do that. So I'm gonna leave GJ to our guest speaker, and then I'll analyze Bitcoin. So let's go over UCAT from last week, and then we'll go over Bitcoin. All right, so I believe last week Khalil asked for UCAT to be analyzed. And we decided that it was in consolidation, which it still is. It's hanging out at the top of the consolidation right now, though, and it looks more on the bullish side, but at the end of the day, it's still at consolidation. And in these scenarios, I would rather, especially if I have a sell zone that I'm looking at above the consolidation, instead of trying to catch the buy, and this is just me, this is my style and the way that I trade, instead of trying to catch the buy out of the consolidation, I'll wait for the reaction from the sell zone, which is resting above the consolidation. Because remember what we talked about earlier, a lot of manipulation happens within consolidation. And so a lot of times what you'll see is you'll see a break out of consolidation, and then you'll see price come back into consolidation after it broke out, because what it did was they ran up and they took the liquidity. So everybody who's trying to sell right now, stop losses are resting above the consolidation, and so I would expect price to come up to the sell zone and react, which in my eyes is an opportunity to sell. Now, another thing that I see while I'm looking at the chart, I also see a second sell zone. So this would be my second sell zone. For the buy zone, it never really came back down into it, but we see it ended up going bullish. So, but that's a review for UCAD and what I see. All right, let's head over to Bitcoin. Okay. I was really following that channel. So I see an overall channel going on, and I'm about to point that out. I want to highlight the channel. It's being followed. I started breaking out of that channel. Okay, let's drop down to the lower time frame. I don't know, man. Looking at market structure, looking at market structure right now. I think Bitcoin is going to go a little. It's going to sell off a little more, and the reason why I say that is because I've been watching Bitcoin for longer than I've been trading. But since I've been trading and I have a better understanding of price action, I kind of understand the cycles of Bitcoin. And so this last rally or this last run that it just did kind of exhausted itself. And now they're creating a fear cycle where they're getting a lot of people to sell. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see price drop a significant amount, like, because I see it going even higher than this, which is why I expect it to sell off even more. So where do I see it coming to? See a lot of imbalance here. I like this level here. It's a little extreme if it dropped back down to 31, but I wouldn't be surprised with Bitcoin. I would not be surprised with Bitcoin if it dropped back down to 31,000. But the level before that I see would be around 45,000. But I see Bitcoin dropping. I see it selling a little more. I don't think it's at its premium discount yet. And then where I see it going to beyond the last high, if we were to come down here, even here, we looking at last all-time high was around 125,000, and so I see it going to 150 first stop, and I'm gonna just say 200 for good measure. I think that's the next stop for Bitcoin after we get a nice pullback down here. But let's see what price is telling us on the lower time frame on the daily. So daily it's been consolidating. So we know we're collecting orders, which means it's either going to spike up and come down or they're just going to run. They're going to run it. Yeah. Yeah, this is what I see for Bitcoin, Kashif. I see price coming down to 45 to 30,000. So in between 30 and 45,000, I think is a good place to buy. And then for a target, of course, the last all time high, which would be 125,000. Take a little profit there, and then I see it going up to 150 to 200,000. And that's my take on Bitcoin, just off of a technical analysis point of view. Gold fell so sharply today. Makes me wonder if it drops below 4,000 this week. Khalil said 30K is diabolical. Man, 30K would be normal for Bitcoin, man. The way that it's been moving, that's what it does. Those are the kind of pullbacks that it does. Definitely selling. Appreciate it. Oh, no problem. All praises to the Most High, man. Okay. All right. So, next, now let's go ahead and get into the student guest speaker. So, this wonderful woman, she's a student, and she already has experience trading. She started learning about 5 years ago, but really started getting serious about it 2 years ago. And she's a leader in her own right. She's a wife, really a Proverbs 31 woman. She's a mother of 6 children, and she's also an insurance agent, and then she also substitute on the side. And something that really stood out about her is that she came into it already with her emotional psychology already under control, which are the traits of a master trader. Like, in my opinion, she's already a master trader at this point. It's just a matter of time, before she's able to show the receipts of what she's been becoming, and she'll be funded, soon. So, but she brought something to our attention, to the class's attention, and it's something that I think will be of value to you all. And my goal is, here at Snipers Anonymous, I'm not the star. I'm not the star of the show. I'm not, even though I do consider myself a master trader. The plan is to create more master traders and to build other leaders, right? And so I want to give people opportunities to be able to come on the platform and to be able to teach. And if that's something that anybody is interested in doing, I'm also, willing to guide you on that and even mentor you in that, because the goal is to duplicate, right? This is not to steal the spotlight and be the only one. Like, that's not how the kingdom of Yah works, right? It's in duplication. Each one teach one. And so this woman that I'm about to bring up, like I said, she's really phenomenal. I've talked to her. Like I said, she's a woman of Yah, Proverbs 31 woman, really sharp. And I really advise that you guys, listen to what she has to say and what she's about to teach, because it's something that you're going to be able to apply, to your trading. So without further ado, could everybody please drop some flames in the chat before I bring her up? Please drop flames in the chat. Drop some flames. I'm not bringing her up until I see some flames get dropped in the chat. Drop some flames in the chat, y'all. Please. Drop some flames. Let me see some flames. Thank you. Thank you. If y'all would give it up for Miss Jovan Strickland.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Welcome. Again, thank you for taking the time to come on and educate everybody on what it is that you're about to educate them on. But I'm going to let you have the floor. Go ahead, tell everybody about yourself and what it is that you're about to get into and teach.
All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Javon Strickland. I am currently at my comfort stage. I started out in property management. I've been doing that for over 20 years. And then I decided to just go straight into insurance. I got tired of working for corporate America, so I wanted to really work for myself, but at the same time, build a foundation to support my husband and my kids. My husband's been at UPS for 27 years. He's getting ready to retire, and I want him to stay retired. So I had to come up with something that would be sustainable so that he can retire. And 5 years ago, I got into trading, and my life was busy. So I did the dabbed in it, didn't completely commit to it until I had a 8-year old that had a birth injury. When he had that birth injury, I'm like, I can't really work the way I work now. So I had to really focus on what I was going to do to sustain me for the next few years up until my husband retired. So that's where I got into trading 2 years ago. It was this breakdown moment of, if not now, not ever. So what I'm going to go over today is a tip for me because I am a busy parent. I do have six. My oldest is 23, and my last hurrah was a set of twins, and they are 5-year-old girls. So the foundation of calculating your position size is important because you want to be able to make money, but also keep that money. So you have to be able to quickly calculate your position size because sometimes you have to get into a trade really quick. So I know there's a foundation to calculating it. You all should know that, but there is a quicker way. Now, what I do is I usually use it's called My FX Book. A lot of you may know it, and a lot of you may not, but I'm going to show you how to quickly calculate your position size on that website so that you can be able to go ahead and get your lot size and compute really quickly. So give me a moment. I'm going to share my screen with you. All right. All right. Hopefully you guys can see that. All right. So this right here is My FX Book. If you go to the home page, it's going to come up with this here. This is a lot of what you can use for your fundamentals, but I don't use it as much for that. You'll just go to www.myfxbook.com, and then you can go to this little burger. You don't have to sign in, you don't have to sign up, but this little burger menu here, you'll click on it, go to your calculator here, and then you'll have several different calculators here. Now, the position size calculator is what I use. So I'll click on this, and then it'll go ahead and bring up my position calculator. So right here it says currency pairs. You can do the drop down to whatever currency pair you trade. I love GJ. That's what I trade the most. Of course, I'm in the US. I'm in Grand Prairie, Texas. A lot of people say Dallas, Texas, but I'm in the middle of Dallas and Fort Worth. I, of course, can choose my currency. Of course, I'm in the US. I'm going to choose my currency. Now, my account size, I'm going to put in my account size. Let's say my account size is 1,000. I'm going to put that in. And then, of course, we know a responsible risk is 1 to 3. Of course, I usually try to stick around 1 if I'm going against the trend, and then I'll get up to 3 if I'm with the trend because I'm very sure of where it's going to end up, or not very sure, but around there. But if I put in 1, and then I'll put in my my stop loss, and you'll put that in pips. So if I put 30 pips in there, and then my lot size as 1, of course, you can do unit size or lot size. I usually keep it at lot size. And then once you calculate it, it'll spit all the information you need. How much you should risk for $1,000 account at 1%, you're going to risk $10. This is going to be your unit size, and this is going to be your lot size. So this will be the lot size that you put in to make sure that you're calculating that 1%. And this will work well when you get to trade on those prop firms and you're held to that 1% and you can't risk more than that. Let's see. And that's pretty much it. You can reset it and then make sure that you're using it every time your account size change. If you have a gain of $100, you want to put in that gain of $100. Calculate at 1%, pip size for stop loss 30%, and then calculate it again. It'll give you $11, your unit, and then your lot size. Hopefully everybody is clear on that. And again, here's a website, www.myfxbook.com. And if you go straight to that, it'll take you to the home page. And again, that burger is what you'll use, and you'll go to the calculator. All right.
All right. Thank you so much, Javon. That was good. Like I said, that blew my mind because I've been using my FX book for years now and never even knew that I had that tool, at my disposal. And that's something that I could have showed the students. So to everybody who's been with me, I apologize. But y'all, y'all know how to do it. Y'all know how to do it in your mind too. But yeah, it's an easier way to do it now.
It's an easier way. As you said, I sub, so I'm thinking all day, hey, I want a lax brain. I just compute it with that and keep it moving. If I have to compute it with my brain, I have it there because I know the formula, but that works out really well.
Right, it does. Well, thank you again, Javon. Thank you for your time. And we will see you in the chats.
All right. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings. Have a blessed night.
You too.
All right, y'all. Go ahead and drop your favorite emoji in the chat if y'all got value from that quick lesson from Javon. Drop your favorite emoji in the chat. Let me see. I was going back through the comments, and Miss Allen, if you're still on, so yes, why not look in the past? That's a good question. Why not look in the past and decide where to enter? It's because let's go back to it. Let's go back to it really quick. We got about 12 more minutes. So let's go back to EU. All right, let me make sure I'm good here. Okay, so you said why not look in the past? So the reason why I'm not looking in the past as far as like back here is because I already have my line set as far as the past, right? I already have a area of support here that turned into resistance, but it was also support. And this is from the higher time frame, right? And so if you look at this and we look all the way back in the past, that zone has already been set. Same thing up here with the resistance, where it's a ceiling here, and then at some point it was a floor. And so the reason why I'm not looking back into the past is because those lines are the past to me, if that makes sense. And that's why I said I know that we're working within this zone, in between this low here and this high, with this being a significant area of support and resistance, and with this high being a significant area of support and resistance. And so that's why I didn't too much look to the past, because I already had the context with the support and resistance lines here, if that makes sense. So That's the reason why, though. Hopefully that makes sense. Cool. But I appreciate everybody's support. I appreciate everybody supporting Jovan. Like I said, I hope everybody got value. But as you guys can see, we are back in profit on the account for the first time since the challenge has started. Because as you all know, people who have been following since the beginning, we started off with a loss. The first trade was a loss, and then from there, 7 more losses came. And I told y'all that would be a testimony, and here we are back in profit for the first, or not back in profit, but in profit for the first time. And the theme of the show tonight is keep the excitement at bay. And the reason why I say that is because it's so important not to get excited about wins. It's so important to not get excited about everything being in profit. I am not going to be excited about this until we reach 10K. I don't care how close we are, how far. I don't care what kind of winning streak I'm on. I'm not going to be excited about anything until we hit 10K. And it's so important for psychology when you're trading not to allow your wins and not to get too excited about your wins. And the same goes for your losses. You should approach your losses the same way. You shouldn't get too down about your losses because it comes with the territory. And so you have to deal with each one equally. You treat your losses like it is what it is. You treat your wins like it is what it is. But you do keep doing what it is that, got you those wins, right? You want to keep that consistent behavior, but we have to keep the emotions to a minimum for psychology purposes. Because what happens is you win too much, you win a lot, and then you get confident and you get overconfident. And what does overconfidence cause? One, we're waking up that ego again. And the ego is no good. I can tell you that. The ego is no good. Pride is no good. You get comfortable. When you get comfortable, you start to slack on the things that got you winning, right? The discipline, the checking the news, the making sure that your risk is correct. Everything, all the little things that you do, all the little discipline behaviors that you develop, you might start to slip on those things, or you might get overconfident and then over leverage. So now you feel like you're winning. Your next trade, I'm gonna put a little more down on this one. I'm gonna double down, or I'm gonna risk more than I normally risk, and now you end up losing more than you normally lose because of overconfidence. And so it's a very tricky scale that we have to constantly balance. And the best way to be is even kill. You win, it's cool. You lose, it's cool, right? Just keep moving. That's it. We're just gonna keep moving. We have won a battle, but we haven't won the war. That's the way that I'm looking at it. But I hope you all got value from that. Hey, Kashif and who else? Kashif Joe. Y'all be hopping on the call, man. I really appreciate y'all hopping on the call, but I would love to see y'all in the chats, man. Go ahead and go in the comments or in the video description and hit the link and join the trading lounge, man. We would love to have y'all in there and commune with y'all. We don't have to just see y'all on the YouTube. Y'all can come into the Telegram chat. I don't know if y'all know that it's available, but it is. Y'all can come on in, man. It's free. It's a trading community for you. The people that you're talking to on here, we all on Telegram. So, but that's it. That wraps it up for this show. That's where we are. I'm going to continue to keep everybody updated in the Snipers Anonymous broadcast. I hope everybody got value from this call. I hope everyone has a great trading week. Remember, becoming a master trader isn't about mastering the markets as much as it is about mastering yourself. And remember, discipline before profits and faith over everything. Love y'all, family. Stay blessed, stay abundant, and I will see y'all in the chats on the charts and next week. Peace.